It's a light month of Game Pass releases this week as the light goes down across Redfall, Massachusetts. Welcome to the SPARCPass News Update. My name is Mark, and I am joined, as always, by my best pal Spencer. Spence, how you doing, man?
You know, man, I was doing okay until we started the show, and you said the light goes down, and then the light behind me flickered a little bit. I don't think you could see it on camera, but I caught it out of the corner of my eye. That was terrifying. I think Mark
Yeah,
is a wizard.
I try to bring a certain energy to these, and apparently the energy I am bringing is magician today.
This isn't even like an
Um,
October spooky episode. I mean, I guess Redfall, we do have some kind of spooky stuff there, but like,
yeah, absolutely.
what?
Um, but you know what? Whatever, it's fine. Um, Hi everybody. Welcome to the show where we talk about games that are coming on Game Pass. You can tell the energy of the show is a little different today because it's not been a good week to be on Xbox internet, everybody. But we got some Game Pass games.
We do.
You wanna talk about some Game Pass games? All right, great. So let's start the party with, in case you missed it, because we talked about this a couple weeks back now, whatever our last news show was, of Quantum Break leaving the service over some licensing issues. In case you guys missed it, about a week or so ago, Quantum Break is back. Hooray!
Yay!
Yay! So it sounds like the licensing issue that we had feared doesn't sound like it was as bad as we had originally heard.
Yeah, it seems like it was a pretty easy thing for them to work out if they got it back that fast. So,
Right, yeah. What, it was off the service for like 2-ish weeks, somewhere in
yeah,
there.
I think it was a couple weeks at most. It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, we'll take that, right? That's not bad at all. Quantum Break is a great game. It's part of, Remedy's legacy of badass first-person games. So I'm glad that it's back on the service. Obviously, and this one's one Microsoft owns. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. It's theirs. So like, put it on there. Absolutely, 100%. So Quantum Break is back. Great. The rest of the month's releases, I mean, obviously we know about Redfall. Redfall's the big daddy. Redfall's out. Technically, it came out last night at I think it was like 8 o'clock. But the scheduled release date is today, May 2nd. We'll get into what's going on with Redfall this week a little bit later in the show. That's sort of our main topic of the day. But we got 4 other games. One of which was a game that was already on Game Pass. So, not a hefty 2-week sum here. But let's start the party with Ravenlock. Ravenlock is a storybook-themed action RPG coming to Xbox on May 4th, console, cloud, and PC. This is a day one on Game Pass game. So, it's debuting on the service. I watched a trailer for this. It's got this cool sort of storybook aesthetic, and it seems like it has very the traditional action RPG combat that we kind of expect nowadays of guy with sword who does parries and stuff. It seemed like it was very much in that vein. It was an enjoyable trailer. I enjoyed watching the trailer anyway. For me, it's I don't have time to play this, but it seems like a cool game.
Right? Yeah, like I'm even just looking at just the key art here for it on the wire. This art is freaking cool, dude.
It's a really aesthetically gorgeous game.
Yeah, this is some cool stuff. It's I don't know, it almost mixes like a 2D and 3D feel to it, if that makes sense. And there's a little bit of pixelated stuff to it, but then there's some stuff that isn't. It's kind of like a weird mixture. But it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This looks interesting.
Yeah, it's a neat looking game. And like I said, it's an action RPG, so it's basically third person perspective. You've got a sword and you're doing a lot of parrying and ducking and dodging around and stuff. So it looks pretty neat. I think I would be interested in giving this one a go if I was not getting absolutely rained upon from the sky by 84 video games.
Yeah.
I would probably be into this one. But, hell on earth is rained upon us, and the video game gods have opened the skies for Jedi Survivor, Redfall, and Zelda all within a 2-week span. So Probably won't be able to get to Ravenlock right away, but it looks like a cool game. I'm definitely intrigued by it, and it might be one of those, like, once we hit the summer lull season, I might go back.
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks like a good one to add to like your play later list that they offer on the Game Pass app, and come back to it whenever you have some downtime or just like looking for something to kill a few hours with to see if you like it.
For sure. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think the developer of this game had another game that was on Game Pass that reviewed quite well, and I'm struggling to remember the name of that game now. It's gone. It's exited my brain. But this is their follow-up. This is their next thing. So it looks really neat. I'm definitely excited to get to check it out at some point. Next game on our list, Spencer. We just spent the last 10 minutes trying to figure out what the difference is between Weird West and Weird West Definitive Edition. Because if you'll remember, circle your brain back to March 2022. Weird West was added to Game Pass. This is a game that was published by Devolver Digital. It's sort of a top-down immersive sim RPG where you're in like a Cthulhian West, essentially, is sort of the best way I can describe it. It's a really cool game that reviewed quite well. But we sat here for like no less than 10 minutes going, okay, what's in the definitive edition? How is it different? We couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. And like it doesn't say on Xbox Wire like now with whatever DLC or anything. The Devolver Digital website literally just says this is what the game's about and where you can buy it. Nothing about the definitive edition. So
my Xbox up here now. There is no DLC for this game, so it's not packing in DLC. Is it?
Maybe there's like a performance boost or something that they added later.
Maybe,
I don't
or like
know.
some big quality of life updates or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But the old version of the game reviewed quite well, and it seemed like it was pretty sweet. And now we got a new one.
Yeah, and hopefully they didn't make it worse with the definitive edition. So
I was gonna say that rarely happens, right? Normally a definitive edition is usually better. I mean, there are exceptions. I stare directly into the soul of the Outer Worlds. Like, just fuck. They really screwed the pooch on that definitive edition. Anyway, Weird West is a really cool game. There are some people that fucking adore that game. And I feel like we talked about this last year when it originally came to Game Pass, that like aesthetically it's your jam, but you don't think you'd like the gameplay.
yeah, that was kind of my thing. I was like, I don't really know that I'd like the gameplay of this very much, to be honest. But
it's definitely like a top-down sort of. It's got that sort of isometric strategy RPG viewpoint.
Yeah,
which I know is not your jam.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I could be completely wrong, and I might like it. So, but hey, I mean, I can try whatever the hell this new version is on May 8th.
If we can have a definitive opinion on whatever the hell the definitive edition of this game is. Well, I'm telling you, folks, we went to Devolver's website. We scoured YouTube. We went to, the Weird West page on the Xbox app on PC, on the Xbox app on the console.
I went to the Steam store hoping maybe there was like different listings there. Nope, nothing.
Yeah, nothing. We can't figure out what the content is.
There's probably somebody that would be listening to this that's like, it's literally right here, you dummy. So if you're that person, tell us what it is.
Put it in chat. I would love to know. I would love to know what's different about the definitive edition. But like I'm telling you, man, it's not like we didn't try. It's not like we didn't try. We tried. There was effort put in. We just did not fucking get there. But that's coming out on May 8th for console. That's cool. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one. Shadowrun Trilogy is coming to PC. These have been available on console for a while now. Shadowrun Trilogy is it's 3 games, old Shadowrun top-down RPGs. And Shadowrun's a cool setting. It's a cool RPG setting. It's like sort of cyberpunk-y future sort of thing. Got this sort of like mysterious, like detective sort of vibe sort of infused in. These are cool games. It's cool that they're coming to PC. It's weird that there weren't PC first because these were initially PC games.
Yeah,
But
that is kind of weird.
it's weird that they're just now. Maybe they were already there and they're now like packaging all the trilogy bonus features. I don't fucking know. Anyway, Shadowrun Trilogy is on PC now. It's coming May 9th. Whew. Okay, all right, here we go. Last one. Fuga Melodies of Steel 2. Coming console cloud PC May 11th. Hey, Spencer.
Hey,
You got any buddies that are furries?
I don't.
Because you gotta fucking tell them. You gotta fucking tell them about this game. It's a strategy RPG made by CyberConnect 2, and it's cats and dogs, baby. It's just everyone's a cat person or a dog person, and you do some strategy RPG shit in a tank. I watched the trailer for this and went, sure, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
This exists.
Okay, this is a video game. I don't want to dog the game too much. I didn't play the first game, obviously, as you could tell by my tenor. Didn't play the first game, so like I don't have strong feelings about this at all, really. But basically, it looks like you sort of like you're all in a massive tank, and then you go down a path, and there's sort of like branching paths, and then each of those lead to like strategy RPG encounters.
Oh, okay.
It's yeah.
Thanks, Windows.
Like that sure seems like a video game you can play. I'm sure that it's a cool ass game. CyberConnect has made some cool stuff in the past. Actually, it's funny. CyberConnect, I feel like I mostly know as like the guys that those Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, like the fighting games, the like arena fighters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's them.
Oh,
So,
okay.
That's mostly what they make. So this is a bit of a departure for them. And CyberConnect 2 has a lot of love for Xbox. They, in fact, recently posted on their Twitter account whenever Xbox's 20-year anniversary came around for them. They had all this like cool Xbox 20th anniversary stuff of like, oh yeah, our anniversary is this year and Xbox's anniversary, and we're cool, like we're friends. So this definitely seems like Xbox's continued push for Japanese-made content on Game Pass. We've been talking about it all year, it feels like, of like they are really pushing hard to get a bunch of Japanese-made content into Game Pass and put another one on the list.
Yeah.
Fuga Melodies of Steel. Check the box.
We got more, baby. Oh, when I first pulled this up on the Steam page, I know this isn't what it is, but the art of the vehicles reminds me of Metal Slug.
It's very sluggy.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. I mean, obviously a completely different gameplay style, but art-wise, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, yeah, cool. It's basically Metal Slug, but with cat people. And then I saw more of it, and I went, oh, no, it's not. Dang it.
Now, if you made Metal Slug with cat people, I'd play.
I'll
shit
play
out of
that. Yeah, I'm playing the hell out of that.
I'm
That's
playing,
all day,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I will play that for free. Like,
Yeah.
you give me that, here I am all day.
I'm in. 100%.
Strategy RPG
No,
with
thank you.
cat people in a tank. I'm okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Yeah, listen, the cat people did not make me enjoy the strategy RPG more.
Yeah. So, Spencer, that's it. That's the whole 2-week period of Game Pass. I mean, obviously all that plus Redfall, right? Like, you got to keep in mind Redfall's the big game, so they didn't want to position anything too massive against Redfall, right?
Right.
I get that. This is one of the weaker 2-week spans we've had in a while.
I was just thinking that. I was like, this is kind of light. Like this is super light.
This is probably the weakest 2-week span we've had in 2023 so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not a great list. Ravenlock looks kind of cool. Somebody tell me what's definitive about this edition of Weird West. I just want to know. Like at this point, I just want to know. But we cover these every week on the news show, and this is definitely the weakest slate we've had so far this year.
Yeah.
Like, no question about it. So that's a shame. And it gets even worse because there's games leaving Game Pass. You ready for everything that's leaving May 15th?
Yep.
All right. So this one isn't too bad. We got Before We Leave, Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair Anniversary Edition, Hearts of Iron 4, Her Story, and I apologize if I butcher the name of this one. Umurangi Generation Special Edition. If I said that wrong, my apologies. I was unfamiliar with your game. You know that Shaq meme?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Nothing too wild there. Danganronpa 2 is probably the most notable leaving there.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely the biggest name leaving.
Yeah, which Danganronpa 1 left like a month or two ago. So it seems like those games are cycling out now.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer. Because those are big, long, meaty games that I think are kind of divisive titles, right? Like, there could be people who are like, I am adamantly not into this.
Right.
So
right,
buying
yeah.
it is just a big no for them, right?
Yeah. I do want to give a little bit of love to Her Story. Her Story is... It's more of an interactive film than it is a video game. But it's a very interesting game. It's like, basically you're going through a database of police interrogation footage
Yeah.
and trying to piece together this woman's story. It's a really interesting game. So I want to give a shout to that. Definitely not something that I feel like would catch, your sort of average gamer's attention, but a really cool piece of art that's been on Game Pass for a while now that I think people should probably check out before it goes.
This is from the same person who made Immortality.
Yes.
Which did review and do very well and was pretty popular. Well, all things considered for like an FMV game, right? Like it was popular. So if you liked that and maybe you didn't realize this is another game that that creator made, this would be a good time to maybe jump on that while you can.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we always mention this, but anytime anything's leaving Game Pass, it goes on sale for 20% off in the Microsoft Store and on Xbox.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I don't think that game is incredibly expensive to begin with. So,
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so definitely one that you might want to go check out before it goes, if you don't have time to get to it before it leaves. I don't think that game's very long either. So
I can't imagine it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is. So definitely one that I would recommend checking out. But like you said, Danganronpa 2 is probably the big one that's leaving there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think all the rest of these are like not great, but not ideal. So basically, this month it's Redfall's 2 weeks, baby. Like there is nothing competing with Redfall 2 here in terms of stuff, or with Redfall here in terms of stuff leaving or stuff coming in.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that kind of makes sense, though, right? Like, this is their big game for May, and really for a little while. So it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't really put anything else up against it and take away from it. Or, maybe put out a game that's like kind of a sleeper hit by accident, like Hi-Fi Rush was. And then everybody's like, hey, your big game is, okay, it's there, but this weird little quirky game, let's check that out.
Yeah. So they really put Redfall out here all by itself, and it's a shame that it's not reviewing very well.
Yep.
So welcome to our main topic of the day. Redfall ain't reviewing great. It is all over the fucking shop.
Yep.
So I've been reading a bunch of reviews. The review embargo lifted. First of all, there's danger at the door when the review embargo lifts an hour before the game comes out.
Yeah.
Bethesda has a history of doing this. I think the review embargo lifted for previous game, Deathloop, like 2 days before the game came out. It was like a day or two. It was not long, right? The review embargo for this game lifted an hour before the game came out. That's not ideal.
No.
And it's kind of showing in the reviews so far. A lot of people, and I'll give IGN full credit on this. A lot of people don't like to give IGN full credit. They're doing a review in progress. They haven't put a definitive score on it yet.
Yeah.
And there have been a handful of outlets that have done that. I think Eurogamer. I don't think Eurogamer even does scores anymore. PC Gamer hasn't scored it yet. A bunch of places haven't scored it yet. Because they didn't have enough time to get all the way through it.
Yeah.
Right? Which, good. That's what I prefer to see. But there's been some outlets that have given this an 8 out of 10, and there have been some outlets that have given this a 4. Like, it is up and down the margins. Right now on OpenCritic, which is what I usually use to sort of aggregate reviews, it's at a 65 aggregate score. Now, aggregate scores are not the end-all be-all.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, reviews are a metric of how that person who reviewed it felt about it. So you may feel differently. I know for me, there's a ton of 7 out of 10 video games that I have loved.
Yeah.
But for your big fall release or big summer release, not a good look for your critic ranking to be starting out at a 65. And when some of these unscoreds come in, it probably will trend lower, honestly, than higher based on the sort of consensus that I've seen. It's not looking great. Basically, most of the reviews that I've read said, like, the loot system feels pretty hollow. The storytelling isn't quite as good as Arcane's previous games, Prey and Deathloop in particular. There's a lot of problems with the AI, and it kind of feels like they rushed it out the door in terms of technical issues. So, all that being said, Spencer, we were very openly like, don't sound the alarms yet when the 30 FPS thing dropped a couple weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
Now can we sound the alarms?
I mean, we can start raising some flags here, right?
Yeah.
Because one thing that we both talked about before the show was that these people who are saying, like, we're working on a review, they did get it like 2 days ago. And review embargoes lifted an hour before the game came out. But also there was a day one patch that's
correct
happened when it released. So they are playing on pre-release, well, not pre-release, but like pre-patched stuff.
Right.
Does that mean it fixes everything? Absolutely not. There is a good chance it doesn't fix a damn thing. We've seen that happen before, right?
Right.
So I'm not saying that this is the end all be all fix of everything. But what I do think is, no one has made a real review of this game. They've given their first impressions of not patched software, as far as I'm concerned, which is fine. Like, those are going to be legitimate concerns that people have of the AI's kind of messed up. I had points where there was a body that I was shooting, and the person they were playing with said that it was a dead body on the ground. Like, there are a lot of disconnects there that are worrisome. And hopefully that day one patch and whatever upcoming patches can solve that.
Yeah.
And, my biggest thing is, people are already saying, well, there's all these problems with Redfall at launch. It's a dead in the water game, blah, 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 because of that. And I'm just curious if anybody has paid attention to the Star Wars game that just came out. That also had a lot of problems on day one. Were they the same kind of problems? Absolutely not. But they are game-breaking problems for people. And I haven't seen any people saying, well, this game's dead in the water. So,
We'll bite back on a couple of those things. It seems like the Star Wars game, the problems are centralized on the PC version. I know my brother is playing Jedi Survivor right now on the PS5, and there's reported 0 issues.
I know I've seen some on Xbox, but most have been on PC, yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's the crowd that's always the loudest to bitch and moan.
That is true. The PC crowd may seem bigger than it actually is because they are the largest and definitely the most vocal online, right?
Yeah.
Will say I sort of have two feelings on where Redfall is landing in the reviews. Most of the stuff that I feel like people are complaining about in the reviews, there's some that are like putting more weight on the technical issues. But some of the reviews I've read, like Jez Corden's review on Windows Central, for instance, and all hail in Jez. I trust Jez with my life. He said the game just felt kind of hollow, and like a day one patch ain't gonna fix that.
Yeah.
You know, like he's like it. I think the exact quote was, actually, I have the exact quote right here. A serviceable first-person open-world shooter with the most needless RPG layer in the history of always online games. That's harsh. A day one patch ain't gonna fix that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's just one guy's opinion, right? At the end of the day, that's what reviews are, is opinion, right? We have to remember that this is a definitive. I have definitely played plenty of 7 out of 10 games that I've loved. I've played plenty of technically flawed games that I love, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously, I don't think anybody's out here celebrating, right? Like, oh, it's a fucking 65 on OpenCritic. Woo, great. No, nobody's celebrating, obviously. This is not a good look for a big, major first-party release. And I can't help but feel that Redfall got hung out to dry here.
Yeah.
If you'll remember back, bring your mind back
Okay.
to the Xbox Bethesda showcase last year. They said very definitively, these are the big games that are coming out in the next 12 months. And the stars of that show were Starfield, Redfall, and Forza.
Mm-hmm.
Starfield and Forza fell out of that 12-month window.
Yeah.
And I think here the fear from Microsoft was, if all three of those major games fall out of that 12-month window, the backlash will be greater.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get one of them out there. And it feels like Redfall was the one that sort of got the short straw here. You know, Forza's obviously a huge franchise for Microsoft. Starfield is basically the ship upon which all the hopes of Microsoft Xbox have landed, right? Like, everything is revolving around those two games for 2023, seemingly. I can't help but get the feeling, reading the reviews, that Redfall got hung out to dry here. That this game probably could have used a few more months of polish. But they said, fuck it, we can't break our promise on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out the door.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the right mentality. I think people would have been okay with Redfall getting pushed a few months.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like either way there was going to be positives and negatives, right?
It's bad either way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there was no perfect option. And looking at the 3 games, they went, well, we can't put Starfield out and it be bad. Although, honestly, they probably could have and gotten away with it better than Redfall. Based on name recognition alone. Because Fallout comes out, it's a broken mess. People still love it. Starfield, people have been chomping at the bits for that game for so long, and they're just like already sold that they love the game, even though they don't know a lot about it, right? So if it comes out and it's a technical mess, they get memed on a little bit, and they go, Bethesda put out a goofy broken game again, ha ha ha, and then they patch it, and everybody goes, greatest game in the world. But when you put a new IP out that isn't as big as that game, right? Like Redfall is nowhere near the size that Starfield's going to be. You know, people are going to pick that game apart for every little thing that they can when it's your only big title. And obviously Forza's not going to get put out in a broken state ever. That's not going to happen.
You know, they're not going to fuck with the big 3, right?
Yeah.
Halo, Gears, Forza, like, they learned their lesson from Halo Infinite.
Yeah, they can't do it again.
They can't do it again. They're going to take their time on the big 3, right?
I think so.
So, man, it's a shame, because it definitely, the overwhelming vibe I have is this game got hung out to dry. And I was not overly excited about Redfall to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
This was on my hypometer of the big games of Xbox of 2023. This was definitely at the bottom of the list for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was at the top of yours.
Yeah.
So for me personally, it's like, that sucks. I wish it didn't happen. I kind of understand the circumstances of why it happened, but it sucks. Where are you at now knowing, like, I don't know if you completely agree with my theory here that Redfall was sort of the one that got hung out to dry. But where are you at before let's keep in mind, neither of us have played the game yet.
Yep.
Before we come in here, where's your mindset at?
I mean, I don't disagree with you at all, right? Like, this was the one of them that they felt like, of those three, they had the safest bet of putting out it, maybe not getting great reviews, and then it just being like, either we move on with our lives and accept it, or, you know, it becomes like a cult classic sleeper hit, you know, that ends up doing well with a niche community, and they keep it going for a while. And that was the one that they said, we can afford for this to not be perfect day one. But we can't afford to put out nothing from these 3 games that we said were coming out.
Right.
And I don't think that was the right move either. I agree with you. But they were at the point of, you know, everybody was already on the train of, well, Xbox has no games. I'm not going to get an Xbox because there's nothing to play, blah, blah, blah. You know, all the people saying all that, even though there's a ton of games to play, but whatever.
I mean, like, yeah, maybe not the biggest AAA releases, but like, this 2-week period aside, look at Game Pass for the whole rest of the fucking year.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there, dude.
It's been nonstop bangers for pretty much the rest of the year. Yeah,
but
on, sorry.
And I think they just saw, like, we just can't delay everything. Like, eventually we got to do something. And Redfall was the one that they said, well, this is the least of like a gamble of it coming out and not doing super well or having some technical problems at launch in their eyes that they could recover from pretty easily, right?
Yeah, maybe so.
Which is a bummer if that's the case.
Yeah, I just don't know that that's the right mentality.
Yeah, and something else to remember is Redfall did get delayed from May of last year to May of this year. So they were like, that already got delayed another year. Do we really want to wait longer? And it's like, man, it could have just been like a month or two if that solved all the problems, and I think it would have been worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we made the argument last month that like, it would have been last month. That like the marketing material's already made, it's already paid for.
Yeah,
you know,
which
like,
I mean, that's also true.
I get that, you know, I totally get that too.
And that could have been a cost analysis that they did, right? Of, look, man, put the game out. It's wonky at launch. We take a couple months, fix it up. We're not going to be the first video game to do this. And still end up being a good and successful game, right?
Right.
We can't afford to redo all of this marketing push, and that's also why the marketing kind of dried up leading up to it. Was, you know, we already kind of put out some stuff. This isn't looking super perfect, so let's pull back a little bit of these ads and a little bit of this money maybe, and push that into development, hopefully. Or, you know, maybe we're looking at in a few months we get a definitive edition like we got of whatever the hell Weird West is. That's really just the 60 frames per second update and all of the other AI fixes and stuff. I don't know.
Right, yeah. Maybe so. I don't know. I feel like... Okay, here's my vibe. Hear me out. Check it out. I think once they realized, and I don't know how late in the game they realized, like, oh man, this game's not polished up. I don't know how late in the game that was, right? So let's put that caveat there. I almost wonder if they should have just gone, you know what? Fuck it. Push it. And let's put some more emphasis on Minecraft Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it kind of feels like Minecraft Legends got, like,
Nothing.
I don't know if you feel this way. It got no marketing.
No, it really didn't at all.
Like, that game didn't, and it's fucking Minecraft, Spencer. Like,
and that might be why it didn't get a lot.
We talk about the big three, right? In reality, it's the big one, and the one is Minecraft, right? That is Microsoft's biggest property at the end of the day, right? Like, we talk about the sort of core audience thing, but in reality, it's Minecraft, right? And Minecraft Legends got, like, no fucking marketing. So if you push Minecraft Legends as the big game, maybe then you can afford to push Redfall a couple months.
Yeah.
Or maybe a month. I don't know, right? This feels like, you know, and I don't want to drag the whole Phil Spencer needs to step down argument, because I think that's fucking silly. But at the end of the day, that decision came from the top. The decision to put Redfall out in this state, the decision to not put as much emphasis on Minecraft Legends, that decision came from the top. And I know there's a lot of distractions with the Activision stuff. I know there's a lot of different shit going on, but that's a miss for management. Full stop. Like, there's no one to blame but them for this one.
Yeah.
Just full stop.
And I kind of wonder, like, did we not get a lot of marketing and advertising on Minecraft Legends because it's Minecraft, right? Like, they were like, look, dude, the game exists. It's got Minecraft on it. Sold. People are buying it. People are playing it.
I mean, sure, but like, then you could still sell it more, though.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that was the correct idea. I just think maybe that was the thought process, right? Of like, we don't need to put as much money in this because it's already a very, very big name. It is a household name at this point, Minecraft is.
Right.
So them just going, look, dude, just say it's coming out and like put it on the dashboard and people will find it. Kids are going to know the new Minecraft thing is coming and they're going to get it. Where Redfall is on its own. You know, it's a new thing. It's a new name. We need to push that in front of people. That could be the thought process of why it didn't. But even then, like, we had, 2 weeks between Minecraft Legends and Redfall? We could have waited another month, dude.
Yeah, we probably could have. They still could have kept their promise of 12 months.
Yeah. Honestly, that probably would have been the better call to begin with. Redfall didn't need to come out at the beginning of May. It could have come out at the literal last day of May, and technically you still kept your promise, and you gave it more time, both for people to play Minecraft Legends and for the game to get a little bit more polish.
Yeah, maybe so. But overall, obviously, not a good look for the Xbox brand in general. In a brand that is already trying to recover, right? And they've done, I think, a pretty good job up to, like, basically, like, middle of last year is where I started to feel like, okay, maybe there's some stuff going wrong here. But, like, up to then, like, from 2017 to now, 2022, whenever they had to push Starfield and Redfall a year, it started to feel like, maybe things are going off track again a little. But this is a rebuilding brand. You got to remember that. 2013 decimated Xbox as a brand down to nothing.
Yeah.
And they've been building it back up. And, you know, the advent of Game Pass is basically like a brand new platform for them. And they've been building it up for a few years, and this is them skidding off the road. It's Ryan McCaffrey on IGN describes it as Xbox steps on the rake. Feels like once or twice a year. It's like they just step on a rake and get hit in the face when they don't need to. Just look down and see the rake, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see how things go. But obviously not a good look to see Redfall getting ironically put out on the cross to suffer, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's getting staked through the heart real bad, man, which is a shame. Because I know a lot of people were pumped about this game, you included.
Yeah. And I mean, who knows, dude? Maybe some of these patches are going to help take care of some of the problems that people have had. But, like you said, that's not going to fix if the game's not fun.
Right.
And I think that is my bigger concern in general, because at this point, like I said, they're not the first game to come out and be not everything it should have been, or just kind of a broken mess that ends up being successful later on. Look at No Man's Sky. Remember that game coming out?
Well,
it was not great on release, but now people love it, right?
Here's the thing, though. I feel like people use that as the boilerplate example. I don't think people realize that that's a bad thing.
Oh, no, it is
right?
not a good thing. I'm not saying
it's,
this is a good thing, but it's
right.
not. I'm just saying that on day one being a little broken, as far as like, AI being a little wonky, or, stuff kind of just like freezing in time, isn't the end of the world as in terms of video games. I don't think that's the way that it should be. I don't think we should put out games that don't work, but to just look at it day one and go, game's dead, I'm out, is dumb.
It's the way of the world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I do think sometimes we overemphasize the technical and underemphasize the actual game and the art of the game itself.
Yes.
I do think that we overall, in all online discourse of video games, do that. If Redfall falls short on both, when we put out our review next month, I'll be the first one to say it.
Yeah, and that's a way bigger thing too, is, like we've said, if the game isn't fun, if the story isn't good, there's not a whole lot fixing that, other than rebuilding the game from the ground up. And at that point, you might as well just chalk it up and move on, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
But I feel like a lot of people in this game so far, like the reviews that we've seen, have mostly focused on the technical. There's been some, like you said, Jez doesn't, he brings up the game's not fun. But most of the complaints I've seen are like, it doesn't run at 60 frames per second. The AI isn't good. There's sometimes where there's an enemy in front of me, and to my companion that I'm playing with, the enemy's dead. And your progress not carrying forward. And when you play online with friends, right? Like, those are things that can be fixed. Should they have to be fixed on launch? No, they shouldn't. Games should just come out and fucking work. But unfortunately, that's not the way of the world anymore. And if they can fix those things, I'm fine with it. If the game sucks and it's not fun to play, that's a different story.
Right? Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't feel like Atomic Heart was that technically bad, but that game fucking sucked. Just because it's technically good doesn't mean it's a good game.
Right, and Atomic Heart reviewed okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it didn't review spectacularly, but it reviewed okay. For us, it was the worst video game of the year by a country fucking mile.
Yeah,
right?
That might be one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. I'm 30 years old. I've been playing games for close to 30 years.
We will never stop shitting on Atomic Heart. We will never stop. It will never
Look, man.
end.
Don't make robots trying to fuck me in your video game, and maybe I won't make fun of you as much. That's on you.
Shit. Well, it's definitely clear that Microsoft is going to have to take a lot of fan feedback on how this Redfall launch is going. But you know something else they've been taking a lot of fan feedback on, Spencer? Is the Xbox dashboard.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know how in-depth on this little world you are, but
very little. Like, I know it exists, and that people want it changed, and that's about all I got.
Basically, there has been a war for years. basically since the Series S and X came out, of like, it's weird that the dashboard didn't get updated for the new generation. We want a new one. Here's some of the stuff we'd like to see. A few months ago, Microsoft put out a new dashboard experience update for Alpha Insiders, and people didn't like it very much. The main complaint being you know how you can set a background, your background can be whatever you want. That it was basically you couldn't see it. There was boxes all over the fucking place, and you couldn't see the damn thing. So Microsoft went back, and they said, okay, you don't like it, that's cool. We'll take it a step back. We'll retool it a little bit. And yesterday, Alpha Insiders, which I am not one of, but a handful of people are, a fair amount of people are. In fact, I actually signed up for the Alpha Insider thing. I'm not in yet, but hopefully I will be one of these days so we can do more stuff like this. Got the updated version of the test dashboard, and it seems to solve not all the problems, but a lot of the problems, and I think it actually looks pretty good. So Spencer, if you could take me full, please, I'll walk everybody through.
All right, it's on you.
Hell yeah.
You're front and center.
So here's what the Xbox dashboard looks like currently. You can see there's one big box on the left-hand side. There's all these, and then so you can kind of see my background, but not really.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to navigate to Game Pass, I have to hit the Xbox button, and then there's all this stuff down here. This is what I usually use to navigate most of the time, right? Like, I pretty much ignore this screen, by and large. I just straight up hit the Xbox button, and I just go here, right? Most of the time. So that's what the current dashboard looks like. And full credit to Tom Warren from Insider Gaming. This is who I've taken the screenshot from. This is not my screenshot, just to be abundantly clear. This is the new dashboard.
Whoa, that's a big difference.
Yeah, so you can see they've minimized the size of the boxes.
Yeah.
At the bottom half, there used to be a lot of Game Pass advertising.
Yeah.
And you can see that on the current... Here, I'll take you back to the current dashboard real quick. There's, like, all this, like, Game Pass-y stuff down here, right? That, like, takes up a ton of fucking space.
Yeah.
On the new one box. You see there's one little box for Game Pass advertising right there.
Yeah. Dude, that looks way better.
You'll also notice at the top, that little, like, you know, at the bottom, I'll take you back here. Again, we're just going back and forth. This little bottom row down here, all that is now up at the top of the dashboard.
Yeah, it's just like front and center now where it should be.
Right. Front and center. There have been, Alpha Insider testers have noted that they seem to be experimenting with what they want that bottom left box to be. For some people, you can see here with Tom, it's showing the store. For other people, it's been showing My Games and Apps, which is what it currently is. So they're still experimenting with what they want to put on that box. Personally, I would prefer it be the take me straight to the My Games and Apps page.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, that's at the top, so like...
Right, yeah. That's at the top, and also the store is at the top too. So I'm not 100% sure why that needs to be in the advertising box at all, frankly.
Yeah. Honestly, just get rid of that whole row.
I mean, I understand that they've sold advertising on that row, and they can't like wholly get rid of it.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's just dumb.
I don't like it, right? Obviously, it's not ideal, but at the end of the day, they've sold it. So, like I get it, but it's not great. But yeah, so basically, they haven't noted any like big changes within the actual AI, or the actual UI interface the rest of the way. Like the My Games and App Store, and when you hit the Xbox button and all that stuff, like all that seems pretty well the same. It's just the front page presentation, essentially, that's changing. So we can take it back to the double boxes. That's everything that I wanted to show. There's my presentation on how the Xbox dashboard has changed. Welcome.
This was my PowerPoint presentation.
This is my PowerPoint presentation on how everything has changed.
In conclusion,
if you're listening to this on audio, I'm sorry you didn't see any of that. But that's the changes on the dashboard there. So Spencer, top line, what do you think?
Why wasn't that what it was to begin with? Because that looks so much better.
It looks way better.
It looks more... okay. It looks more online with, like, the PS5 dashboard, right? Like you have
It's
you
it's
have the
pretty
important
similar.
shit, and then there's like another sub menu that you can go to at the top to quickly jump. And I think that makes way more sense than what we currently have.
Yeah,
Because
I completely
also,
agree.
like, you know, you were scrolling through your different blocks of blocks, right? And it was like you got to Game Pass, and I was like, if I go past that point, it's by accident every time.
Yeah.
I'm never scrolling past that and being like, store, movies, and TV, or whatever the fuck that is. Xbox, let it
Yeah.
die. We didn't want it to begin with.
It definitely feels like, and I mean 100%, it's a holdover from the Xbox One era,
Yeah.
right? A
Have you
lot of
ever
stuff.
bought a movie or TV show through the Xbox store on your Xbox that wasn't free?
I did it one time.
Okay.
I rented a James Bond movie because I got some Microsoft rewards points out of it. But that was the one time. I did it once. That was before I bought the James Bond collection. I have the collection of all the Blu-rays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like now I will never need to do that ever again. But it was a Microsoft rewards challenge of like, rent a movie and you'll get some points. And I was like, sure, I'll watch Skyfall, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was one of those. But in terms of like actually going to the store intending to rent or buy a film, fuck no.
Yeah. I think I bought one, and it was actually on the Xbox 360 because it was the only thing I had at the time that could play things.
Right.
And I had like a tiny bit of leftover what do they used to be called? Microsoft points? Is that what they were before
Yeah.
you just used your real world dollars?
Right, yeah,
And it was I
Microsoft
had
points.
like 100 of them left over from something. You can't fucking buy anything with 100 points. And they were like, yeah, hey, so this South Park episode is like deeply discounted. And it was the World of Warcraft episode. And it's like the only one that I truly enjoy because that episode is gold.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll spend my 100 points on this because the fuck else am I going to do with them? But like the whole Xbox One and it being pushed as a entertainment piece as opposed to a gaming console, yeah, there was never a point in time where I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Right.
And after that, I forgot that I had that episode until we had this conversation.
There you go. Well, I know what Spencer's going to go do after this. He's hooking up the Xbox 360. Here we are.
It's right back here on a shelf, baby. I'm grabbing it.
And mine's not back on the shelf. You can see there, if you're watching on video, there's a stack of Xbox 360 games. That's normally where my 360 goes because it's hooked up. I hooked it up the other day, a couple weeks ago to play a game with my brother. But yeah, I overall like this dashboard more. There's still some complaints. There's still some issues that I have. Mm-hmm. The main one being the dashboard is not HDR. Still.
Yep.
We need to fix that because most video games at this point use HDR. And if you don't set up your TV properly to handle that, you'll get this weird instance of like, you click to a game, screen goes black for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then bam, you're in the game.
Yeah.
It feels clunky. It feels bad. This is very easily solved by making the dashboard HDR compatible.
Yeah.
That should be the next step for the redesign. Apparently you can set it so that you have either a static background like you can now, or you can set it to change the background based on what tile you're on. That's cool.
Okay.
That's neat. So the like aesthetic customization stuff, It seems like they've gotten better.
Yeah.
And given that they can't get rid of the ad layer because it's been sold, and I understand that.
Well, stop
if
selling
they could, if you could get rid of that, it'd be perfect. If it was just
beautiful.
that top bar and put that at the bottom, and you don't sell ad space on the front page anymore, or you do it in a different way, I don't fucking know. Like, if it was that, it'd be perfect. Given that the ad layer has to exist, I think it's the best we can do with what we have.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It looks nice. Make it HDR so I don't have to sit through 2 seconds of black screen every time I switch a game.
Yeah.
Thank you. But do that, and then I'll be big chillin'. Honestly, at that point, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
Overall I like it, like it looks so much better than what we have. And it's definitely, if nothing else, at least like a huge step in the right direction.
absolutely, and it saves you clicks. Like at the end of the
That's my
day,
thing. Yeah, there's just
yeah,
less like bloat, it feels like.
yeah, it saves you clicks because before I load up my console, I log in, the front page loads, I immediately ignore it, I hit the Xbox button, I go down to my games and apps. It's like 5 clicks
Yeah.
to get to where I need to go. With the new dashboard, it's log in, here's the dashboard, press up, hit A.
Yeah.
Better. That's a big improvement. I like it. Because it defaults to games and apps on the far left-hand side. So you literally just have to press up, and you're on the bar, and you hit the button.
I'll do you one better.
Great.
Just start my cursor there. Let me just start there in that top menu and then go down if for some reason I want to click down.
Absolutely.
But let me just
Even
pop
better.
it open and go directly to my video game, please, on my video game console.
Yeah. That sounds great. Overall, I'm happy with it. Just make it HDR, and
Yeah.
we'll be big chillin'.
I think it looks good. I'm in.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
I'll tell you what, Mark. While we were doing this show,
Yes.
there was a bit of small breaking news.
Okay, we
But
got a
speaking of
breaker.
Tom Warren, that's who it comes from. So this isn't anything big, but I think it is interesting. So Microsoft is apparently starting a new Game Pass referral program that lets you invite PC friends to try Game Pass. So apparently they're launching like a friend referral program that lets you invite friends to try out PC Game Pass. The offer is available for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass members to invite up to five friends for a free 14-day trial of PC Game Pass.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So with
Gets people in the
Redfall
door.
just coming out, you've got Game Pass. Throw that to a few of your friends. You guys got 2 weeks to try this game out together.
Yeah.
And then,
that's rad.
It's not a huge thing, but this could also be kind of like moving forward into something else of we can invite friends to our family plan, hopefully.
Yeah. There's
but-
no way they don't announce the family plan at the summer show, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there's no way they don't, right? Like, it's been in beta testing for so long. We've seen documentation on what the price is. Like, there's no way that doesn't happen at the summer show.
Yeah.
Right?
One thing to note with this, and this is something that more and more companies are starting to do, which I don't agree with at all. But if a friend that's new to Game Pass does accept this offer, it means they cannot use another introductory offer later, like the promo cards that come with accessories. So if there's a introductory thing later of, get Game Pass for, $1 like they used to do, which they're not doing right now. But if they have something like that, just be aware that you may not be able to use that, it seems like, which I think is bullshit, because Discord does the same thing of you get one-time Nitro for free, even though you get it with your other subscriptions from things like Game Pass. You can never use one of those codes again. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not ideal.
Yeah.
Like, if it's part of the package that I'm getting for buying a product, I should be able to use it. Yeah.
Yep. So just keep that in mind, I guess. If you're like, I am going to buy Game Pass at some point, like, maybe just hold out for a hot deal. But if you have a friend who's like super on the fence, this 14-day trial might be worth it for them, right?
Yeah. Give them the push. Give them the push into the Game Pass ecosystem, and you will never leave. Like, I mean, you'll probably, leave at some point. I will be real, though. It is exceedingly rare that I ever pay for Game Pass because I hardcore grind Microsoft rewards. Like, I paid for Game Pass. This is the first year I've had money taken out of my account for Game Pass in like 3 years.
Nice.
So, like, because I don't hardcore grind Microsoft rewards like I used to. But like, you can get it for free if you're willing to spend the time. Don't just come down here with me.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're already investing enough time to grind those out, you're probably already investing enough time to just almost naturally get them from playing video games, right?
More or less.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of the same thing with, like, being able to play World of Warcraft for free from in-game gold. You're probably already playing enough that you're going to naturally get these things.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're not, then, maybe don't put yourself through the hassle of it and make it a freaking job to save yourself $15 a month.
It is not as bad as it used to be. They've streamlined it a fair amount. I don't have to go, like, there was a time in my life, Spencer, where I had Microsoft Edge program.
I remember this.
To launch 30 tabs. You open it, it's 30 Bing searches. It knocks out all your Bing searches all at once.
I remember.
You literally just click through each tab.
What did we?
I had that set up for a while. I stopped doing it.
You were in town one time, and we went to some event. I think we went to like the roller derby in town, and you were like waiting in line for concessions, and you were like, "I gotta get my Bing searches in." Like, pulled your phone out, and you were like, "Roller derby, okay." Weather. What else can I Bing search randomly?
I got to a point where if I forgot to do it on the PC, whenever I come in, I do it on the phone, and I would literally just type the alphabet one letter at a time. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, E.
So broken.
Like, you just do it, and it works. It fills out your Bing searches, and you get so many free fucking Microsoft points. I don't do that anymore. I'm not quite that deep, because I make enough just from playing games and like doing the little daily quests or whatever, which are super easy. The daily quests are like, play a game, get an achievement. That's it.
I think some of those things you can literally just do from your phone. Like,
yes, there's
just
a bunch
launch
you
a
can do
game
from
on
your phone.
cloud.
There's a bunch of shit you can do from your phone. Like, you can launch a game on cloud. There's actually on the Xbox app, there's separate rewards from the ones that are on the Game Pass app. And those are, they have Microsoft Jewel in there. You play around a Microsoft Jewel, you get 30 points. Play any game on PC, you get 50. Play any game on console, you get 5, right? Like, just do that. Literally, you don't even have to play anything. Just launch the video game, and it, bam, gives it to you. So you can get Game Pass for free, my children, if you're willing to do a tiny bit of work. I can get it all done. I've got it to a point where I can get it all done in like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's not
frankly bad. Less than that. Like, literally all I got to do is launch game, let game play, go through. Like, it takes me like 5 minutes, if I'm being honest. It's not long. Like, you can do it. I believe in you. But if you want to get that 14-day free trial to try out Redfall, that's a thing to do. I like the idea of referral programs like that.
All right, get that 14-day free trial. Grind like hell in that 14 days to get your first month free, and then continue to get your months for free. Simple economics.
I don't know that you can get quite enough to get a free month. Just from grinding everything is hard. I mean, I suppose if you do everything, I suppose you could. But anyway, that's gonna do it for the SPARCPass news update today. For May 2nd. We got a fucking main show coming out next week.
We do.
We got a hell of a main show. It's going to be Minecraft Legends. For the Game Pass Game of the Month Club, that's the game we played. We played it here on these streams. So you can check that out. And we do want to make a tiny little announcement for the Minecraft Legends episode. The Minecraft Legends episode of SPARCPass is going to be the first that will be video-centric. The main show is coming to video.
Woo, baby.
We're doing video for everything now.
Look at us go.
We've done the news show for a few months now, and we figured out basically how to work out the kinks. We're doing everything on video now. So the show will be premiering on YouTube next week. It will still be coming to your audio feeds as normal.
Yep.
Nothing's changing there. But we're going to be on video as well, so you can watch the show as well as listen, and it'll basically be just like this, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be live recording the main show so that we can still do some editing and some special stuff. But the main show will be basically this format, the two of us in a box talking about a ding-dang video game. Right.
Yeah,
It'll be pretty similar to this. It'll be pretty similar to this. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube, do that. I'm also working on, I'm going to get the back catalog up on the YouTube channel at some point. That's going to happen at some point. I just haven't fucking done it yet because I'm a lazy fuck.
It's a lot of work, dude.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot going on. But we're going to get the back catalog up on YouTube soon so that you can listen to every episode of SPARCPass on a playlist. You can have the new show. The new show's already coming out on YouTube the next day, but you can see everything on YouTube. That's the plan eventually, is for everything to be on YouTube, everything to be on Spotify, everything to be on Apple Music, everything to be on everything. We're taking over the fucking world.
Yeah.
You better be ready. Because it starts with Minecraft Legends.
It'll be a legend to tell. Why do you guys watch this? I'm sorry. That's terrible.
That was real bad. Anyway, we'll be back next week for Minecraft Legends. We'll be back the week after that for more news. Come check out our Sunday streams on Twitch. We're going to be playing Redfall throughout most of those.
Maybe.
Might not have... Maybe, unless it sucks.
Unless day one we go, I hate this.
Yeah, unless it sucks shit. I don't know. We'll find out. It's worth noting, we may not have Spencer this coming Sunday. It might be a Mark solo stream. I haven't quite made up my mind yet. We might.
Oh, special Mark stream.
If Father's away, the child will play, right? I might just like play some bullshit on Game Pass for a week, and then we'll start Redfall properly the week after. But yeah. So that's it. That's the news show. Thanks for watching the news show. We really appreciate your time, effort, energy, and attention. And we'll see you next week for some legendary shit, baby. This is just as bad as yours. Kill the stream, Spence.